Hello everyone, welcome to Papercrafting Playdate. My name is Robin Armbrecht at Really Robin Stamps. Today is June 26th, today is June 26th, 2022, and I am so thrilled that you are joining me to learn about some card making. So today's episode 61, and we are going to work on something I've been promising called explosion cards. So I think that you are going to love adding this little fun fold into your repertoire of card making, and it's going to make your brain explode. Hopefully just a little bit, and only in the good way. So let's get started. Okay, so what we're going to do is kind of start basic with our basic explosion card, and then we're going to work our way into some other variations and things you can do with the same fold. So the basic explosion card has an insert that opens up when you open the card, and that's where you get the name explosion. But the fold that makes this kind of explosion is called a squash fold. So you can search for that term if you're looking for ideas and samples, and there's going to be a lot of different things that you can do with your basic squash fold. So that's what I'm going to teach you first. So I recommend that you just take some copy paper or printer paper or a piece of scratch paper, and you make yourself a template for the squash fold so that you can just reference this again and again, and you don't have to waste a piece of pretty pattern paper in case you make a mistake. So this is a 6-inch square, and this is the perfect size to fit inside of your basic sized invitation size card. You can make a squash fold out of any size square. So you'll see me use certain sizes today, but just keep in mind that you can use any size. All right, so get your piece of scratch paper, and here's how you're going to put together a squash fold. So basic squash fold gets folded in half, and then you open it, and then you fold it in half again the opposite way, and then you open it. So now you've got 4 squares. You flip it over and you fold it in half diagonally. You open it back up, you flip it back over, and then you poke the center, and that will put all of those score lines going in the right way. And then you pull on the diagonal lines, just bring them together like that, and then it folds into a square. And that is a basic squash fold. All right, so half, open, turn, half, open, flip, diagonal, open, flip, pop, and then you bring these two together. And then that's how you get your squash fold. So let's do that with, and make a card. So I've got my basic piece, that's my card base, which is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. I have my 6 by 6 piece of pattern paper, and this is double-sided pattern paper, and I got that from this in color package of Designer Series paper. It has all these great new colors. And then to finish the card, you're going to need 4 pieces of squares that are 2 3/4 squares. And so these are my 4 pieces. And I thought it would be fun to use my stylish shapes, and the largest square in this die set is 2 3/4. So this is just making it a little bit prettier by having those stitched edges on my squares. All right, so let's do our fold. Now the thing that you want to remember or keep in mind, So here's my squash fold. All right, this is the inside that you're going to decorate. And it's going to do this little explosion thing when you open the card, right? So if you want a certain pattern to be on the inside, so I would have to choose stripes or flowers, right? Whatever you want to be on the inside, that is what needs to be facing up when you start the squash fold. So I'm going to choose the flowers, and we're going to fold it in half. You want to make sure that you crease those folds. Open, turn, fold in half again. Open, flip, diagonal in half. Open, flip, push that center down to make those diagonal lines pop. Bring those together. And then you've got your fold. So easy and so much fun. You can do so much with this, as I'm going to show you. All right, so the reason that the 6-inch square fits perfectly, because you have to look at the diagonal length when you're figuring out how to place this inside of something, and the diagonal length is 4 1/4. So you can't make this square any bigger to fit in an invitation size card. Okay, so it's going to go in here, and from the diagonal corners, that's 4 1/4, so it's just going to fit in there. If you wanted it a little smaller, you could do that. You could do a 5 1/2 inches. Or whatever, depending on the size that you want. Okay, so now we've got our little explosion. Let's go ahead and put this card together. I'm going to stamp before I put that explosion insert so that I get a good, I'm going to make a background, and I don't want to have my little explosion piece inside because that will not give me a great impression. So I'm going to use this new stamp set that is all words called Big Hooray. It's on page 60 in the new catalog. It just has all these great, just fun, simple words that I love. So I'm going to take the hey there, and I'm going to just create a very simple background and just layer these like little bricks. Actually, it kind of works perfectly here. Isn't that fun? Okay, I should have planned a little bit better there. Let's do let's just do hay. We'll just fit that in there. And we'll just do there, right there. Okay, so there's our background. Now we can insert this on the inside. And so what you do is you add adhesive to one side, and then you just want to center it. So if you, sometimes diagonals are hard to center. I don't know why, but they are. If you just want to have your ruler here across the 5 1/2 side, 2 3/4 inches is exactly halfway in between. So you can kind of use that as your guide if you put the point of the squash fold right there, and then the other point hits the right up to the score line where the card scores in half. Okay, so that we've got one side attached to the inside, and then we'll put some adhesive. So where this opens is towards the bottom of the card, and we'll just fold that over. Like that. All right, you ready? Yay, look how fun that is. All right, so now the fun part is you get to decorate. So these squares, because we used a 6 inch square, these individual squares are always going to be the, you know, half of whatever the large squares that you started with. So these are 3-inch squares. So that's why we have 2 3/4, so that we have a nice little border. Okay, so now you've got things that you can fill. So I want to cover all of these little spaces. And so to do the triangles, I still just need my 2 3/4 inch square, but I'm going to cut it in half. Okay, so we'll bring the paper cutter in, and I picked out this fun glimmer paper that coordinates with the in colors. So I want to do this diagonal in half, and so I want to line up the corners exactly onto where the cutting line is, which is this dark brown strip right here. And then I'm going to just chop that in half. And then I'm going to do the same thing. Let's see, I need to pick one of these. I think I'm going to do the polka dots. Okay, I'll do that again. I'm going to line up the corners. And then I'm going to plop the blade down in the middle and then go out each direction, because sometimes when your cutting blade hits a corner like that, it can bend up that edge. So you want to start in the middle when you're cutting. Okay, I think that looks good. So let's adhere these inside. So this is the fun part where you get to decorate. The nice thing about this is that it lays flat when it's open, so it makes it very easy to go ahead and decorate. You could do this part before, but then your squash fold is going to be a little bulky to glue down initially, so it just makes it a little bit easier to get that squash fold in straight if you do this step second. So I'm going to go opposite with my colors like that. All right, so I'm going to put the 2 white ones here for my message, and let's use some of the other stamps that come in this stamp set. So I have the color Tahitian Tide and Parakeet Party. And I'm going to use this word big. Stamp it in. I'm going to stamp it in the Parakeet Party. We're going to make this a birthday card. So I'm going to use Big Day. And that's going to go down here. I'm going to do that one in black. And then we have these fun little, we've got some confetti and we've got these little like lines here. So let's just do some little accents here. All right, so these are going to go on the inside. Okay, so big day, there's room to write your message. And then on the outside, I'm going to keep with my theme here. I'm going to layer these 2 on the front and just keep it very, very simple. So let's bring back the Hey There. And I'm going to use my Memento Black. And I'm going to clean off my stamp and get the black off. And then I'm going to take the Tahitian Tide and I'm going to hover it right over. I'm going to do a little shadow stamping. So I'm going to hover it right over where I stamped the black, but then I'm going to move it a little bit over so that I get just a little blue right behind that black to give it a little shadow. And then we'll add our little accents here. Like that. So this is just a very simple little birthday card. But the fact that you've got that nice little explosion on the inside, it makes it a wow card. So I'm going to put that one on diagonally. Now you could pop this up, but one of the things when you put the insert into your card, right, you're going to give your card some extra width there, some dimension. So if you're mailing it, you want to just keep in mind how many layers you have. You'll probably have to use a little bit extra postage. Oh, I love this. Okay, let's finish it off and we'll add some of the in color dots. Just to make it stand out. Put some over here. Let's add a little green one. Like that. So just give it a nice little pop. Okay, so there is our very simple, basic explosion version. Hey there, big day, and you've got room to write your message. Very fun. All right, what do you think about that one? Let's put our ink pads away and I'll show you another version. This is my practice card and I used the same parakeet, but I paired it with the Starry Sky, the darker color, and has similar, this one's a thank you card instead of a birthday card. All right, so here's our basic version. Now this, we put the squash fold inside of a 5.5 by 8.5 card that opens right this way. But there are so many variations to how you can make this work. So I wanted to use the Butterfly Kisses Designer Series paper. And I created a panel card, which is 4 1/4 by 11. And I wanted to show you that you could make this work with any kind of, basic invitation size card base, no matter how it opens. Okay, so opening it this way just changes the orientation. Okay, and I put the little butterflies on the fold instead of using additional Designer Series paper and kind of made them come off, and you can see when it folds together like that, they just kind of slide together. So I basically took this panel card, and I just cut it here to make it square, like the size of my squash fold. And I used the lovely linen designer series paper to create this one. So you can get kind of creative with the size of your card base while you're putting those together. All right, so let's put these to the side. I have another one I want to show you. We're just going to put a little twist on making the card. And I wanted to play with these two designer series papers. So let's create our squash fold out of this gorgeous paper. Now remember, whatever you want to be on the inside that you decorate has to be on top when you start folding. So I want this side of my paper to be what you see when you open up the card. Now, if you feel like when you are folding and doing this process that you get things crooked, it's hard for you to line them up, you can absolutely score on your designer series paper first at 3 inches so that you can, get it more accurate. That works too. And the reason you have to flip it over for the diagonal, if you couldn't already figure that out, is those diagonal folds need to go in a different direction. So that's why you have to flip it before you do the diagonal fold. And then you pop, and then you bring those together. All right, so one of the things that you can do is you can really decorate all of the little, spaces inside of this little squash fold. So I wanted to take this Happiness Abounds stamp set. And let me show you where that's at in the book. This is a great little suite and bundle. So here is the stamp set. Has dies, and then of course this paper that I'm using coordinates with the whole suite. That's on page 109. So I'm going to make this a friend card. So the outside is going to say friend. What am I looking for? You are wonderful in every way. So I want that to be one of the messages, and then I want the other message to be sending many thanks. There we go. Knew I'd find it. So we'll do the main messages in black. And we have to stamp them on the diagonal. Whoops. Flip that over and give it another try. There we go. So this one's going to open this way. That's why I oriented the words this way. And I've taken the time to cut out the flowers from the designer series paper from this sheet right here that will coordinate with this paper. And we're going to just add flowers, and we're going to kind of create a little dimension. So I'm going to only attach them to half of the triangles here. so that they'll stick out a little bit. And if you're going to do that, because of the way these come together, you would make one overlap this way, and then you would make one overlap this way. You wouldn't want to do them both like on this side and this side, or this side and this side. You want to do it opposite here. So let's put, where are my leaves? Stick a leaf under here. We'll do it up here. There we go. Okay, so this is hanging off this way, and I want one hanging off this way. And let's do this purple one. Just a little bit, and then I'm going to put this leaf hanging off the rest of the way here. So that's going to pop up like that. See how that goes? And then we'll add some additional fun flowers. See how you can just decorate. That's the same one. Let's use a different one. Let's use this one. Here, I'll put a little leaf. What I also did then, you can see some of these pieces are edge pieces. And so I thought it would be nice that I could add some of these in to the card and put them along the edges. I'll show you what I mean. For example, like this one, I'm going to put here, right up along this little fold. Kind of will look like it's coming from the inside of the card there. Okay, you see what I mean? All right, so I'm gonna wait. Oh, wait here. This is the one I was looking for. This one goes here. Like that. Okay, now before I put the rest of these on here, I'll show you what I'm thinking. So let's fold that up. Let that sit for a minute. And let's make our card. I thought it would be really fun with this card to make the outside of the card very simple in black and white, and then make the inside all of that gorgeous color. So we're going to make a fold called a bookbinding fold. And to do that kind of fold, you just have your regular card base scored in half to make your card. And then what you do on the card front is you create another score line, either an inch or an inch and a fourth from the score line that makes the card fold in half. So this is 5.5 for this particular card. So I'm going to do 1.25 inches from that fold line, and I'm going to put another score line in there. And what this does is you end up adhering this together to the card base, and then it shortens the size of the card front. That actually opens. And then it has this binding type look, so it looks like it is like a book, right? So the reason I thought this would be cool for the explosion card is that when you do this at 1 1/4 inches, you get a perfect square over here, and then you've got that nice place that you can insert that explosion feature. So let's first glue this closed. So you're just going to put adhesive on that little section and close that up. And then I took some of that beautiful, perfectly penciled designer series paper, and we'll just decorate the front very simply. Gorgeous, right? So I said I wanted to make use the greeting that had the friend, so I've already punched that out. It's just going to be very simple, and we're going to just accent that and kind of make it stand off of the page by using some basic black and some cardstock vellum and this bow punch. So here is already one piece of vellum, so let's do another. So I'm just gonna punch a couple leaves out of the black, basic black, and the vellum. And then this is going to be popped up, so we're just going to layer these underneath. So I'm going to put some glue here, and then I'm just going to kind of put those underneath like that. Okay, hopefully they're all sticking to some glue. Okay, I'm going to just take off this little end of the stem on this one here. We don't need that. All right, this little guy doesn't want to stick. Let's get you back up there. There. All right, now I'll add the dimensionals to that. It'll kind of also help to keep these in place, and it'll pop up the greeting. So I don't usually add this many dimensionals, but this will keep it nice and keep it from warping. Cute. Let's just move this one in front here. Okay, so there's our card front. Nice and, you know, that black and white, so beautiful. All right, so now we're gonna make this a surprise by putting our very colorful inside. Let's make sure I've got the greetings going in the right direction. Okay, so this is going to be perfectly centered because it's a square. Okay, you ready? How fun is this? Like I have a little bit of an issue here with this one hitting. I'm going to wiggle this guy out, and I'm going to put a smaller leaf in there. Like that. See if that works a little bit better. Now, with all of these leftover things, I'm going to just add them around the outside edges here. So it'll kind of cover the whole inside, and it should be Nice and colorful and beautiful. So again, these flowers have edges on them because on the piece of designer series paper that I got them out of, they were going off the edge of the paper. Let's put a leaf right here. What's left? What do I have left here? Looks like I have a leaf. So you see how you can just decorate it all up. So much fun. Put this one over here. All right, well, I have this one, but I'm not sure that there's room for it. So I might go find just one little edge piece and put back there, but you get the idea, right? So you can just make some things pop up a little bit and totally cover that. And look how fun that is. You've got this nice, stark, black and white, gorgeous card. And then when you open it, you've got, oh my goodness, so many beautiful colors. So many beautiful colors. So I had to make one with the other hues of these flowers, right? So I thought this would make also a great like wedding card because of the black and white. And then when you open it up, you've got all those gorgeous colors. How fun is that? This is a blast to make. So much fun. Okay, so this is the squash fold inside of just a slightly different fun fold, which is called the book binding fun fold. So let's think a little bit out of this kind of card, and let's use the squash fold in a different way. Okay, so I am going to change the size of our squash fold, and we're going to make the squash fold into the actual card. Okay, so the whole card is going to be an explosion card. So I'm starting with an almost full sheet of 12 by 12, and I'm going to cut an 8.5 inch square, because remember, whatever square size you start with, the finished product, the finished square, when you fold it, is going to be half. So half of 8.5 is 4 1/4, which would still allow this card, when folded, it's going to fit into an envelope. Okay, so this is going to be my card. I thought I would use this beautiful Abigail Rose Designer Series paper and just pair it with the amazing suite of products, the Abigail Rose stuff. So pretty, so just like kind of antique looking, a little vintagey, but yet so very elegant. So that's what I'm using for this card. So this is going to be our squash fold. I want this to be the inside, so I'm going to keep that up when I'm folding. So I'm going to do the exact same thing. We're going to fold it in half, and we're going to open it, and we're going to fold it in half again. And open it. Let me crease this one. I didn't do that. And then we're going to flip it over, do it diagonally. Open, flip, poke right in the middle, and then you bring those diagonals together. And now here's our card. All right, so our card, when you make this as a card, it's going to just open like this, and it's going to be the entire card. So when you make this is an 8.5 inch square. That means when the pieces that you cut to go on the inside need to be 4 inches. All right, so let's decorate the inside. I'm going to use these 2 pieces to do my little triangles here. So I'm going to cut them at the same time. These are 4-inch squares, so you need 4 4-inch squares and an 8.5 by 11 base. And I'm going to put those diagonals tips right on that cutting line, start in the middle, and then cut those into their triangles. Let's put those on first. We'll get them out of the way. Every side of this paper is just so pretty. So I'm going to go ahead and do these opposite again because I really like how that looks when the triangles are a little bit different on each side, kind of opposite. Okay, love it. And then this one, I love this piece that kind of looks like a ledger book. That's going to go here, but I'm going to stamp on it first. I'm going to use some of the little pieces in here. I love how this looks. So let's take this leaf and we'll use our early espresso. Where did my scratch paper go? I'm going to stamp off a little bit. Let's see. This is going to go like that. So I want this leaf to be here. Just kind of put them in different directions. I am stamping in the morning today, guys. I'm recording this in the morning. I don't usually stamp in the morning because I'm not usually awake, but I have my brand new Stampin' Up! Coffee tumbler, or whatever you want to call it, just a tumbler. This is in the online store now. You can get these tumblers. Anybody can get them in all 5 of the new in colors. So I picked Starry Sky, but I definitely really want to have all the colors. So I'm gonna have to save up and treat myself. So I'm gonna put just a couple little flowers. Okay, that looks good. What's also fun about the squash fold is that, you know, you've got places for more than one greeting. You know, you can put additional extra greetings, which is what I'm gonna do in this case. Put that there. And then this is going to be the main greeting place here. So let's stamp first, that way, just in case I mess up. So I was gonna make this card also a friend card because they've got this Friends Forever. So I'm gonna put that on the front. And I love this, you are positively the greatest. So let's put that over here. And then we'll put happy birthday. And this one, it's going to be fab. Okay, now I can glue that down. On the inside. So I took one of the dies, this one right here. This one does not coordinate with a stamped image. It just makes this beautiful little outline of a flower. And it's really fun because with these little pieces, you could refill these little holes if you cut this flower out in 2 different colors. of cardstock, then you could fill it back in with a different color if you wanted to. So I'm going to glue this down. And pull in the pink over here. Okay, so there's the inside of our card. So let's do the outside now. One of the things you can do when you make the squash fold into the actual card is you can create a belly band to go around, and that way your card will stay closed. So this is just a 1-inch strip of crumb cake. And so I'm just wrapping that around. And then I'll score it. I'll crease that. Okay, so I want it to go this way. Straighten that up there. You don't have to put a belly band on. This is just one way that you can kind of keep that closed. And then I stamped this in our early espresso on petal pink paper and already cut that out, so that can go on the belly band. And here's our little, let's see if we can make this all fit on here. Our friends forever. I'm going to repeat that little striped part. Oh yeah, that should work. Just center that on there, and then let's pop this up. Like that. And that's fun. I like that. Now I was thinking about using this ribbon. This ribbon is also from this suite. It's beautiful, but I don't think it needs it. So we're gonna just leave it as is, but we'll add a little bit of these gems because this is that petal pink color. It looks so pretty. So let's put a couple of those on the finished project like that. Okay, all right, let's open this up so we can enjoy it again. We've got our little belly band to keep it closed, and then there's our card. So that's fun, right? Just totally different. And the thing that's nice is it still fits into a regular invitation size envelope, so that you can mail it. And because it's made out of designer series paper and not cardstock, it's thin enough. You just need one postage stamp unless you put a lot of extra ribbon or dimensionals on there. Okay, so nice little, just a different kind of way to use that squash fold and make it into a card. So let me show you what it looks like. With a different pattern. So this is the perfectly penciled. So instead of using a belly band, I added ribbon, which I had just attached to the front of the card. So this ribbon is just adhered underneath my focal point, and then it just wraps around and can tie it closed. So this is another way to close it. And just a nice simple little birthday card. So pretty. You could color those flowers or leave them. Oh, so nice. Okay. Now this is what it looks like with cardstock. So this one I used a piece of Petal Pink cardstock. Now when you use cardstock, as opposed to designer series paper, as we have been doing, you do want to score this first before you fold, because you're going to just get wrinkles in your cardstock. So if like this is an 8.5 square, so you would want to score it at 4 1/4, 4 1/4, and then, you know, diagonal, flip it and score it and then fold it. So you just want to add that little extra step. And I'm not closing this with anything. I'm just leaving it as is. You know, it'll fit in an envelope very nicely. So this is using the Tea Boutique. And just a happy, happy little card. All right, so here is another idea. So this is actually my husband's Father's Day card. And so I covered a binder clip with a little bit of designer series paper that matches. And this is really easy to do. You can just pull these out and just pinch them. And then you can cover this. It just takes like 1 inch by 5/8 of an inch or something like that. I glued it on there. So that's how this is going to hold together. And here is his Father's Day card. Now, this one I decided to just give it a little more stability, and you'll see why. So instead of like these two, where it's just the designer series paper, I added a piece of cardstock on the back just to give it a little more stability. So when I did that, my square, instead of being 8.5 inches square, it was 8 1/4 inches, so that you could see the border. So I just adjusted the measurements. In fact, what I did was I made an 8.5 inch square, and then it was, when it was all folded up like this, I just trimmed off the edges, and that was really easy. I didn't have to do any funky measurements. So here is the inside decorated, did a little pop-up, and then instead of just covering this once, I just put another little layer of a sheet that was like 3 3/4 by, you know, 7 3/4, so I would still see the border. And you've got these little fold outs, so you could add pictures. It's almost like a little mini album with that squash fold. Super fun project. And then we're just gonna hold it together with that nice little manly clip. Now, one of the things you can do, like I told you, if you want to go and search for squash fold, or you can look up squash card, squash album, squash fold. You're going to find tons of things out there. You can take this 8.5 inch square. So basically I made this. I made 3 of them, and then I attached them together and made an album. So that's what this is. Let me show you how it goes together. So I took 3 squares and I made my, I folded them all, and then you layer them together. So you would put one this way, and then you would put the next one right onto this card, but you do it opposite, and then you would put the next one here opposite. I'll show you. And when you do that, you just get kind of an expanding squash fold. So you can see these two are going the same direction. This one's going opposite, and they're just attached under here and under here. So this is my daughter's bridal shower. She had a tea party that her amazing mother-in-law planned for her. And so these were all the special people that were there. So you can decorate it, you can put pictures on there, and then it all just folds up together nicely. I did the ribbon on there, so it's a nice little gift. She hasn't seen this yet. I'm so excited. All right, so that is some of the amazing things you can do with a squash fold, right? And remember, you can make this any size that you want. So one of the other projects that you can do is make these really small. All right, so this is a 4-inch square. This is a 3-inch square. So a 4-inch square will get you this cute little size. That's a 2-inch. I'm going to do this with a 3-inch square, and I'll show you something else you can do. So let's do our little process here. Half and half, flip it over, diagonal, flip it over, pop, bring it together. How cute is that? So I saw, this was several years ago, we did this project at a class, and I think it was Dawn Olszewski. She's an amazing demonstrator. She had put this project together. So you do 5 of these little tiny 3-inch squares, and you stack them. So you make sure they're all opening the same direction. You put adhesive and you put another one and another one and another one like this. See how they're all open like that? And when they're all attached together, you can open it like this and you get a star shape. So this makes a little Christmas ornament that you can hang on your tree like that. Isn't that cute? And then this cute little ribbon here with the button, it allows you to, like, when you're storing it, until the next time you put it up, you can just kind of put it together. So I'm not going to walk you through this one step by step because I'm going to do a separate video on that. As we get closer to Christmas, it's a great little gift idea. I make these almost every year at Christmas time, but I wanted to show it to you now because it's a squash fold, and you can do all of these amazing things with this particular little fold. So make yourself some templates, practice the squash fold, and then figure out how you want them to fit into your cards that you can make all these explosion cards. So much fun. All right, do you have a favorite? Did your brain explode just a little bit with some ideas? I hope so. That is always my goal with Papercrafting Playdate, is to give you a bunch of ideas and ways to take one idea or one template or one fold and use it in a lot of different ways so that you can take out whatever product you have at home and put it right to work and make some cards. Thank you so much for walking through the squash fold explosion card with me. I appreciate all the time that you spend with me, and I love your comments. So if you like this video, go ahead and give it a like and subscribe to my channel. You know I appreciate that so much, but more importantly, leave me a comment and tell me anything. Let's have a conversation about these cards. I would love that. Thank you so much. Bye.